Yeah, good day, it's Brian Whitten here. I'm just going to put my camera down here at the moment just so you can see that it's the river is flowing, but it's flowing dirty today, and I won't be able to see, you know, what sort of rocks I'm pulling out of the river, okay? But I'm going to go and show you where I'm going to set up, and I'll show you as I turn around now. Okay, it might go out of focus a bit and whatnot, but I'm just going to show you. I don't really want to show you the area I'm in that well, okay, because a lot of people can tend to get a little bit annoyed with that. So if you can just bear with me for just a second. I can't get my car any closer to the river without me making sure I can't get back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you the setup of where I am, okay, but I want to show you very slowly how we're set up, okay. I can't get any closer to the river there. You can see where I am now. I'm going to walk down there once I get my lens set up. I'll put my camera about here. You can see me walk down there, and I'll pick 3 rocks out of the river, and then I'll bring them back and we'll put them under the microscope. The reason we're doing that is we're going to have a look at the symbols that you are now seeing on the screen. These symbols are not made by, well, reflected light as such. They are made by using fibre optic cable. But that's actually what you're seeing there. It is not something that's natural, nor is it a crystal. These images or these symbols change. There are multiple symbols on multiple rocks. I would expect that very, very important. They are highlighted as such on the rocks. And we will go and get, like I said, 3. I'll put my camera on a tripod, and I have a singlet on, so excuse my attire. The reason I've got a singlet on is you can see that when I walk down to the river, I'm not putting my hands in my pocket or whatever. You've seen by how dirty the water is that I can't, you know, I can't go down and pick out a rock that I've chucked in there or anything. So I'll pick 3, a bigger, a smaller and a medium, okay? And we'll come back and have a look at those and see if we can pull those symbols back that on those other rocks, okay? Righto, so here we go. Hold your horses. Okay, now I'll go down and I'll get 3 rocks. You'll note what I've actually got is a singlet on, like I said, and you'll see that I've got absolutely nothing in my hands. I'll pick up a big one, a medium one, and a small one. I've got focused at the back of the car there, so you can do a freeze frame with Windows key and print screen, and you can have a look at that. Pause the video, make sure when I put the rocks under the microscope, they're in actual fact the same rocks, okay? So anyway, I'll just go to the river and get a couple, and it won't be long. Okay, now these are the 3 river rocks I just pulled out. You can still see they're still damp. Let's have a look at them under the microscope, see what we come up with. Okay, we're now at our second spot. I've driven about 20 kilometres further up the river. I'll show you a little bit more of the area here, only just because I am somewhat in, like I said, a more offbeat area. I've done a little bit of dirt road to get here. I was going to try and process these in the back of the car, but honestly the glare is impossible. I can't see it. I've got to focus. What I want you to do is I have focused myself the camera a little bit further this way, so I'm going to go and pick 3 rocks up. I'll look in the air as I reach round. I've got to be a little bit careful because I just think I saw a snake enter the water over there, so I don't really want to be looking up in the air too much, so I will pick in when I reach one and pull one up. I'll be looking in the air so you can see it's random, because the it's too slippery here to try and walk into the water. I'll fall in. I know I've fallen in before. Okay, I'll go and get me 3 rocks. Okay, they're my 3 rocks from this place. As lovely it is just to stay here. I've got to go and get another 3 rocks at another place. Okay, now there's our 3 rocks we got from that spot. We're at the 3rd spot now. Okay, I've just driven about 60 to 70 kilometres from the last place we're at. We've come all the way back down the valley. The reason we've come to this beach is because I'm aware, as you can see here, that there are many rocks all the way along this beach. That way and that way not so much. What I will do is go and pick 3 rocks up. I will refocus on that pile of rocks and I'll go and get 3 of them. Okay, that's the 3 rocks we just got from here. I'll take all 9 rocks now. We'll go back and put them under the microscope. Okay, well, back in the office now. What I'll do, I've got the 3 rocks from the first place we went to. Okay, that was about 25 kilometres from Wingham. I've got the microscope here, and all we're going to do, like I said, is look for the sparkly bits, and we're going to do it live. So the first one is this. Okay, or the small rock first. Okay, that one was from the first location. Okay, now I've got that first little tiny rock there under the scope, so what I'll do is I'll just pick it up so you can see I'm getting this one, right? You just saw that change on the screen, so you can see this is the rock I'm using. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I can tell you already I know what I'm looking at. It's pretty amazing. I'm going to turn that around this way so I'm steering the rock in the right direction. And what we're going to do now is, first of all, we're going to tweak the light down on the microscope to see if we've got any bright spots already that I can see. I can already see a few. Look at that one up there. Isn't that amazing? Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the other light source on, which is this device. Now what I'm going to do is I want to focus on one of these little bright spots. I don't want to get too much about, so I'm going to concentrate on getting that one there in focus. Alright, because remember, we're looking for these symbols. Alright, I've already showed you a symbol that we're looking for. I'm actually pretty close there. And I'll take a screenshot. I then pull that picture back up like this. I go to where that little bright spot was, and we have that. I will now take a screenshot with Windows and print screen. There you go. First rock is not natural. Righto, now I've found a spot on this that's not so bad. I was at West, the same that spot where that brown was before, but like I said, you've got to get your light in the right spot that you get the bright bits to come up. So once you get it in the right spot, and you actually do hit the right spot, it actually really jumps out at you, and you'll end up with not 1 or 2 bright bits, but you might end up with like 3 or 4 all jump in at once. So, and I'm trying to get it, I know there's bits over here, but if you don't get it in focus, you're wasting your time. You just won't get the you won't get the symbol correct. Alright, I think that's getting close there, that's it. That's where it's getting close. Alright, now once I get into that spot there, oops. I almost got this one down here as well. See those ones that come up over there? So we'll see if I got one of those. We did. So we might actually get some good ones in here. They're not figures, right? That's where the process is being used to make a shape. Okay. So in other words, you've had the optic fibre supply light in behind here and here. That's how that actually makes that. I'll take a photo of that anyway. Okay, just to put in, slip one in. Okay, and then if I go out again, you'll find that we actually got some more over here as well. Okay, so we'll zoom into these ones. There once again is a symbol more than anything. That would be, but I think that's not quite focused right. Like I said, it's difficult to get them. They flashed up those ones on the other side, and I didn't focus that side of the screen. But that's how they do that. They will make shapes with the same things, but then you will get ones like this where you'll go in and there's no shape there. I can tell you now, I can almost bet that that shape, it's not making a shape, it's actually a character, that one. It's left separate, it's black all the way around it, and normally if I actually get real good, I'll back out like this, and then you'll see the shapes around here are shapes of other people's, you know, people's faces looking in at the thing. And over here you have the same thing, some more characters here, and I'd suspect they're more characters than they are shapes, but you can see what I mean. See how that makes, how they use it to make a shape? It's the same again here. They've got light, spots of light come in here. It's very, very, very unusual, but that's what you're seeing there. And like I said, to get it really, really in focus, you have to persist a bit, but we'll try another one. This is still that same rock. What I wanted to just mention, that you saw how I moved around there to get those images. You would be surprised at what you can get off some of these rocks. They really are quite amazing. Sometimes to get the little spots that I was just talking about, it's sometimes best to go into like a crack or a mark on the rock like there. So if I was, is this little question mark? Hop in there. I'm so used to looking at these things. There's things I know, I'm just so used to looking at reading it. There's a little question mark in here, and it says, when you see that, you watch what happens when I turn this down. It'll probably already come up with something. I can already see one of those sparkly bits come into this portion here, right there. If I turn this on slowly, there, I'm going to click that. Put that back up. We'll go into that crack, and that is our symbol on this one. There. That's it there. Okay. That's what you're seeing there. Okay, now I've on to the second lot of 3 rocks, okay, which we obtained from memory. That was where the first place was the Dirty River, okay, and the second place I actually drove from there about another 20 or another 15 kilometres. So from this point I've driven 40 kilometres up the Manning Valley. I won't tell you where, it was just up the Manning Valley, but quite frankly you don't need to go to the Manning Valley, and these things are everywhere. That's why I went to the beach in the last instance. Now I've already put the little rock under here, but I don't want to move that just of this 3 just yet, because I did put it in there and focus it. I don't want you to have to sit there through that all the time. I've got a little sparkly here already, so what I'm going to do is take a photo, and I have come in at this because of this arrow, right, at that angle. That's when I'm coming along the rock, that's when I'm coming in this way. But I'll take a photo there, okay, because I can already see what it is I actually wanted to obtain, which is this thing here again, there, okay, that sparkly, that is exactly as I said. And when you go out, see how you can see these faces looking in at it. See this face? they make another face with the same thing, and they're looking in at this one. This is the important one here, and that's exactly what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go bang, bang. So that's a screenshot of that one. Then I'm going to back it out so you can see what I mean there. When you get back, I'll screenshot that one, because I'll insert these images so they're clearer, and you get this person here with his eyes and his nose and his mouth looking at it. And that's when I realized that these were important. I think I had one of those with about 4 faces looking in at it, and that's why that is important. So I'll close that down. Trying to see if there was some sort of UFO thing here, but really that's not what I really want to do here. I want to concentrate more on these. Okay, so there is yet another symbol, and that's the first rock of that second lot. So I'll do a screenshot there. Okay, we'll go on to this one now, which is the second rock of the second lot we got. We'll just go like that. These are, like I said, a little bit more difficult sometimes. Like I said, better off just going straight to focus and then remembering what, look at that, we've just almost gone straight into, when I say you get used to seeing what it is you're seeing, you do. As much as you might not see that, remember that you're not looking at the microscope, and the image I'm seeing, none of the imagery until I insert it is what, as you see it. So what I'm going to do first of all, we want to establish whether or not we have, in actual fact, a rock that has glistening bits again, which you already have. Up here to the left, I can see one in here. Right here, I'm going to take a photo of that one because it looks like it's actually correct. Take a photo there. There's actually, would at least be 2 or 3 on that one that I'll go straight to. Okay. And as you can see, they're not, this is a character. If it was, it's a black image. How possibly can it be black here? If this light is, if my light is making that light, it can't be black here. This is how you know it's, as I said, it's a fibre optic that's used behind it to light even the imagery. If, like I said, if I went out here, you might find that this is, again, here's another one here, see? Another one that's an image. It's not an image, it's a character. Okay, so there's 2 already in the one. Okay, now if I go back out, there was a third over here, just there. And like I said, you'll find that that's exactly the same as we've got on the other rocks. That's why I'm collecting them all. Oh, I'm not collecting them all. You could probably learn this as a language if you wanted to, and sit down and work it all out and spend the rest of your life doing so. I certainly don't intend to do that. I'm going to enrol myself at TAFE next year, which is probably when it's going to be there. Let's get on with the third rock now. So, like I said, I've taken 2 off that from just putting it under the microscope. So now I'm going to shut that down, right? Alright, put that one there. So that's the second of the third one. This one, the third of the second. I'm going to probably just pick this bit here with like I said, sometimes with the cracks it's a bit easier. Now remember what we're looking for. We have little pointers and we get arrows and we get curves, but like I said, the thing I want to do is really get these speckly bits, because like I said, in the right spot they are sometimes driven to make an image, but in other places they are not there for that. They are there precisely for one thing only, and that is to give you a character. Okay, now I've got some up here already, although that may not be, I've got a couple in here, right? So I'm going to first of all take that photo and zoom into that. And there you have it. See, it's a redirected light. That's what you're actually seeing here. It's not crystal light. Crystals don't do this. Okay, they don't make UFOs and aliens and have arrows and all sorts of things. And once again, like I said, you see the same method to light here coming over here. Alright, the only reason here you may not see it as predominantly as what's over it is a bit thicker. so you don't see it so much. And see here, look, it's hard to dispute that you're not just seeing. This is under microscope there, microscopic dots of light. And I showed you, I did show you a photo in my last video where I said they sometimes insert like a hair or whatever. It's not a hair, that's actually the giveaway of what they're telling you they're using to create the process. So, well, once again, we've got about 3 already on that. So I'm going to go back out, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I'll go to the other side of the rock. If we see a glistening thing here, which we've already got a couple in the cave, or I call them caves, these holes, but honestly, if you're doing this, there is some really unbelievable stuff in there, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that, because I can already see in that little hole in here, right, things that we can go and look at. Okay, and like I said, it isn't pixelation on my screen that you're seeing here. These are actually dots of light and symbols created by the placement of exactly that. Look, it's not natural. Crystals don't do that, and you'll find, like I said over here yet again, the crosshatch stuff to mount all this stuff here. See the faces that have been created here, look. If I went and spent the time here to get the light right here, you'll get another face here looking up. It really is an amazing thing. Here's another one here, look, screaming, and his eyes here, and you just get, it is unbelievable that there is so much here. I'm going to go in here and we'll have a look at this one as well. That's not quite right. So if you don't quite get them focused, and that could be focused, it's not bad, but generally I would think that there's not that many points of light here. I'm getting too many. But like I said, you'll have this crosshatch. See how this is done? This isn't pixelation. It's not pixelation, that. Okay? It's an amazing, amazing thing. And like I said, you'll have markers and telling you how to hold your light sources. It's not guesswork, you know. You're getting told where to put the light and how to come in at device. Here's another one down here. I think that's actually a pretty good one here. That one there I would also say is a completed symbol. Not as background, right, because it's on its own, it's not underneath here as such. This is when you know you're generally getting one used as a shape, although like I said, sometimes you'll see that same sort of thing, but generally they'll be highlighted. They'll be really highlighted, the character in here, or a spot of light. But that's how that's done. It's certainly not natural. Okay, we're on to the last 3 rocks that we got off the beach. That was 1, that was 2, that was the 3rd one. We'll start with a little one, put our light in, focus, I'm going for one right in the middle. Okay, I just saw one come up in the middle here, right here, like that. Once again, black background. That's not that good of that one. Okay, so like I said, you'll find some that are not that good. I'll just try another spot. I'll just move me light. I might move the rock. Yeah, I'll go to the crack on one side, okay, and we'll just see if we can't see the other thing we look for is, you know, like I said, sometimes you might just find one and that's it. Yeah, see, it's not that we're not seeing things here. Like I said, some rocks, the imagery will be far, far, far smaller, and there is imagery in here already. In here, like I've said before, there's metal things that come out, and now it's telling me, you know, where to shine things. But what I want to do is I just want to get these little twinkly bits down here, which I can see in this place. I'm going to try and get that in the right spot. I know which one I'm going for there. I'll go for here. This one here. There's the one. That's what happens when you get them good. And it's worth doing. And that, my friend, is exactly the same symbol I've pulled off other rocks. And what you're looking at there is not natural. And I'm going to back out there now, and I'm just going to show you, just to see, oh look, to see if we've got any, you know, oh sorry, anybody looking in at it. See that? Some of the imagery is unbelievable. And this is what I mean, it's microscopic. You don't actually even see it until you go in, you know. There'll be a person's face or something. But that's exactly what that is. That's a fibre optic, and it's that stands alone. It's not lighting anything up, and it's probably something to do with the language, I would suspect. There's another one here as well. Okay, once again, it's been highlighted. That is one on its own. I'll insert that again, and as I back out, look how it's made. The same sort of process here, right, with fibre optic to light the back of this. And that's on its own, that's what I'm saying. Then you'll see this face here looking at it, look. Mouth and its eye. And that's what I mean. So they really do get highlighted. Here's another one here, look at that. That's how they'll do a planet shape. They'll make shapes with these things like meteorites and all sorts of things doing exactly the same thing, you know. And I could, if I mess around here, end up probably with, you know, some very unusual. Look at that. See the way that's made that shape? That we're working at a pretty microscopic level. Okay, I've got a card under here that will indicate to you what, you know, so when I say microscopic level, when we take a photo and zoom into one of these little white specks that you see, you can see that white speck would probably be certainly maybe a tenth the width of that black line. Okay, so if I bring that back out, that's actually the card I am using. It's a business card with black lines on the back, so it gives you an idea when I say how microscopic we're working when we go in to look at those figures or these symbols. That's how small they are. Okay, now we're up to our 8th stone, which is the second one that I got off the beach. The beach is 20 kilometers east of where I live. The other two places that I collected the rocks, the first one with the dirty water was about 25 kilometers by road, that is, up the valley. The second place after that was about 40 kilometers by road up the valley. So I did a little bit of driving to show you that I went to quite some places. Okay, so now what we're going to do is follow the same thing. I can already see that I can turn this down here. I can see a little sparkling white point in the middle here. So I will focus on that very, very sharply to try and get that real good. Once again, take the photo, zoom in to the point in question, and see I'm still not quite focused. You can see what I was talking about, where you want to get your focus right. This is what happens if you're not quite right. That may not quite be a symbol, although it does look like it to me, but once again you can see the crosshatch straight away. It's a manufactured rock. That's why you're seeing this like this. It's really quite an amazing thing. This is mounted. It's actually mounted on the rock. Whether they make the whole rock is a very good question, or whether they, you know, adhere to an existing rock, which is also a possibility. I've found a spot that seems to work pretty well with this rock, which is about here. Like I said, if I get the right spot, You've got to do 100 things at once, so this is a problem to get it correct. What I'm looking there for is to get more than one of those shiny bits, so that I had these patterns down here as well come up. See here? So I'll do a screenshot there with that one and insert it for you. I did get that one a little bit better, but like I said, that's still not quite right. I think that's not actually a... It looks to me like there's a light indicator here. It's hard to see when you're seeing it the way you do, but I'm going to first of all turn this down and we'll see if we've got any bright spots that we want to get first, which we already have. I can see 2 right away, and because I've got my focus pretty good, I'll take that one. So this is the other side of the rock now. We've just gone straight into that hole, and we go down here to this point, and we have our points again. This is logical. It's not natural. I'll insert that one for you again, and I'll go out again, and you watch. The same method here again. Look at this. Look at that. What you're seeing here, and I'll show you on another rock as I talk to you about it, is carbon fibre. Carbon fibre. Optical fibre. And that's how these are made. And if you go out here, you'll see the same process is used to light these, what you're seeing here. Because some of this is like I said, what made me realise that this was in actual fact what was happening was that I actually couldn't understand how I'd gotten the light down into that spot on the rock. In this instance, where we've got the light on the microscope here coming down into the crack. That's fair enough, you know. But these things here, when you see how I've taken this, you know, where is my light coming from here? My light source is on the outside here. It's not all the way down into here where you're seeing these things come out. Okay, like here, look. You can tell it's even on the black background here. Okay, so I'll take that one for you as well. And just for the sake of it, we'll just go out and see very quickly. We see, I did say that there was a light marker here. As you can see now, we're on our last rock of the 9. So the last one that came from the beach. Actually, to be honest, have in the past collected quite a few rocks there. They're lovely rocks, some of the rocks at that place. This is where I tell you that you can get 3 triangles in a cave or a hole. There's a perfect example. Okay, that pretty much says, have a look at me. Okay, I need to be looked at. Okay, and when I see that, I slow down. Now I know I said I'd look at specs and whatnot on this video, but I would suspect we might actually see something very interesting here. So I'm actually going to turn this light down a little bit, only because that's got such a, it's really highlighted. So I'm going to go slowly here, so we'll see what we see going that way. Like I said, you can see what I mean by you get better and better at knowing what to see on a rock when you're moving around it. Okay, now I'm just, I can see sparkly bits already come in there, so I'm actually pretty good. I'm going to just try and, I don't think that's quite right there. I'm just seeing if I can see a light marker. I don't know what that's going to bring out, but let's turn the lights right off then. There's a figure there somewhere. I think we're going to have ourselves a UFO or something. See this part here? I think this is what this is going to be, or something of that nature. I'm trying to look for somewhere where it's telling me where to put my light from. Like I said, there's some rocks we will dim it like this, and that's when you'll start seeing the light where you're supposed to have the light. So what I'll do is, I can't really see that, so I'm going to have a bit of a guess. Okay, so we'll guess maybe this line here. There is this line in here. Okay, so whether that's an up or down one, it's a bit, It's a bit hard to show, but we'll just try it. I've got lots of specklies everywhere. Okay. And then we'll go this way. Turn our screen on. We're going to lift up this way first. Oh, maybe it wants it from this side here. Oh, look at this one here. We've got something there. I'm going to just click that and we can go and have a look at that. I don't quite know what that is, but I did focus on that. There's going to be something really good coming out of here. See this hole here? Something really quite amazing is going to come out of there, I think. Anyway, I'll get that where he's got that right like that. That's going to be a real good one. I can tell because it's on that black background. You watch this. There you go. Exactly as I suspected. Exactly. That's the we're actually 9 out of 9 now, ladies and gentlemen. It is very confronting to realise that the rocks you're walking on at the river have been manufactured, because that's what you're seeing here. This is not not a natural rock. Okay. Anyway, I just moved around the rock a bit on that. I fiddled for too long. Now, the ramifications, as you would imagine, if we're looking at rock after rock, and now we're on our 9 out of 9 here, and we're on the other side now, and I'm just going to chat with you as I work, okay? If it were that we had one, we probably wouldn't be too stressed, you know. 2 or 3 or 4, but honestly I've gone every rock in my home, and that's why I went with you and took you with me today, really, out there, because this video is for us. And these rocks are for us. These rocks are, I think we have a person's face right there, so I'll just stop right there. And the situation is that we are seeing something that's really, really quite unusual, in that we are seeing repetitious symbols on multiple rocks, the same types of symbols, indicated all the time, consistently from rock to rock, and the theme would be difficult to argue, quite frankly, that the theme of all of the rocks is not directly related to a disaster related to cometary impact. It's impossible to say that that is not what you're seeing, because even though I know we have UFOs and we have disaster, we can't date rocks, but what the important part here is, as I've said before, is these rocks are here for you and I. They are here for us. They are here so we wouldn't be deceived. You know, we would not be deceived by our leaders that would have you tell us that the people that came here 12,000 years ago, I would suspect they came here, and I've said in another video, it would appear to me that this catastrophe probably would have killed us all, quite frankly. I'm just going to get myself into a spot here. Remember, I've moved to the other side of the rock now. I'm just going to click in there because I can see some of those come up. We'll go straight to that image, have a look at it, and there we go, straight again. So we're still looking at exactly the same process. I'll do a screen capture and install it for you. I don't know how you're seeing those. I know they look fuzzy to me. They look awful when I look at them, so I've put them in my screenshots folder and I'll install them so they're all nice and clear for you. We've now got to the end of that last rock. Okay, so now we'll sit down and have a bit of a chat. Just before I wrap up the video, I did want to actually say something. When I came to the realization that I'd started to put every rock in my home under the microscope. And like I said, I don't work as a geologist, I work as a computer engineer, you know. I've done that for 40 years plus, and I didn't, you know, you don't expect to see these sorts of things that you're seeing as, you know, as I go along here. You're seeing the images off the rocks, and you don't expect to see this. This is not something, as a computer engineer, you expect to hear about it, right? You don't expect to be what you think as a person that's discovered it, but I don't think that. I've said that in another video. I'm sure there are people watching this video that are sitting there going, my God, you've got to be kidding, just as I was. Because the ramifications of me not knowing means that this entire thing that I've showed you on these rocks has to have been kept quiet, because it is illogical. I'm a guy, like I said, I work in a field of logic in every sense of the word. Whether it be hardware or software, the process is logic. If I then, you know, use the same process of logic and understanding, you still have to do the same thing. This has to mean that we have another whole group of people here on the planet, just like we have our leaders, that have seen fit to be quiet about this. Because there are people and geologists that look under microscopes everywhere, all over the globe. So how come it is that I do not know this? I do not know that this is on our rocks, because that amazes me. That's and I know archaeology turns its back on things that are obviously unexplainable, because they've got to go along with, I believe, a lot of the church teachings. I won't say any particular church or religion. Like I said, I don't think this really changes a whole lot of things. The people that have left the rocks are merely telling us they are people. I won't go into that at this point. But I want to know why there isn't one geologist that I've ever heard open their bloody mouth, be quite frank, because this is obvious, and you can see in the images that you're seeing here this is not natural. So I just sit here and I shake my head. I'm sitting here with an entire group of another bunch of people entirely that as a group have shut up. I don't understand that. I'm a computer engineer, like I said. I work in an industry that's very, very highly technically, you know, I mean, it doesn't stop. It just changes and evolves all the time. From the time I started as a 20-year-old kid, it's been the same. It's just changed and changed and changed. You've got to keep up with it. It is and can get extremely complicated. I'm not saying that to big note myself or sound intelligent or whatever. I'm just saying that is the way it is. If I went and did a service call at a place, or I trained an engineer who was younger than me, I want him to be as smart as me, if not better. I want my people, if I've got running an industry where I'm providing a service, I want all the technicians to do their best when they walk in the door. When you boys with your geologists and your microscopes close ranks and don't tell people what's on the bloody rocks, what the hell good does that do humanity? That is to me like mass stupidity at its absolute. I just can't believe it. Anyway, I just had to put that in here. Well, that brings us to the end of my last video now, and this will be my last video. I had reasons to put videos up on YouTube. And I guess really what we've got to do is probably come to, you know, an assessment of what we've found. Really, it's really quite an astounding thing to now have gone to, you know, covered a range today of over 60 kilometres in total from the beach. out of a river in one instance, and then on the side of a river in another, are 60 kilometres apart from each other. And it is without doubt that each of those 9 rocks has, number one, the symbols on that we always see, and that if I varied light around and moved it around, I would undoubtedly pull characters. You do have to spend quite some time to actually get the really good imagery that you'll see as I'm talking to you now. I'm just going to insert them as I go along. Any of the better ones that I've got off you know, the rocks over the last couple of weeks or however long it is that we've become aware of all this. Like I said, this could be an extremely daunting situation for some. I can see some very wondrous things, so I'm going to give you my interpretation of why they're here in their numbers, because there's obviously billions and billions of rocks at our feet have been manipulated in one way or another. I would suspect that the reasons why that's the case is that the people that came back to save us, and that's what's happened here. There will be people that will find this difficult to believe, and like I said, there is a bit of a religious warning at the start of this video. I don't see that it's a problem there. Really what we're seeing, and we're seeing it in the rocks as well, we've got to apply some logic and common sense here. You know, like I said, I do mention in another video, I've had some unusual things happen to me over the years, but the reality is reality. I've had people with me when it happened. I've had you know, UFOs over my home when I lived in Newcastle. I've had a neighbour tell me that they've seen one land on the house or on the, you know, oval behind the house here. You know, I didn't see that myself, but you know, I'm just saying the fact is that somebody told me that's what happened, and then the one that was over my house was seen by myself and another guy in the middle of broad daylight. You know, so I don't know why those things happen. They just do. You know, you get to I never really let it worry me, and I never really doubted that there was life on other planets, even as an 8-year-old child. So it was not something that was an issue or a doubt, you know. We could also assess that, like, even with the rocks themselves and the levels of technology that are shown on them. Whereas if I show you a rock like this, which is the Tintam rock, and the technology on that, or even the technology that's on this one here, which is that black and white striped sandshoe rock, that even the rocks themselves look like they're a little bit more, you know, they don't look more natural, do they? This is what we're seeing on the rocks as well, varying levels of technology. Okay, I would say that that's not because they came back at another time and did another lot of rocks or anything of that nature, though I don't think that's at all the case there. I think they've come and shown you varying levels of technology on the rocks, right? Because purely and simply to say that they too are just a being, just like us. They're not gods or anything like that. They are beings that evolved, okay? It would be pretty obvious looking at things like Tintam, a melted Tintam, you know, that if it looks like that, but I don't think that was made, you know, 50 years ago or 100 years ago. I actually think it was made as part of the recovery process of the planet, which is why they came here. They came here to save who they saved. The catastrophe happened, whether or not they guided it, it does look like it. If it's one day and it's had, you know, 7 comet impacts that have severed every continent, it does appear to be that they've made a decision there to save the good ones and direct, maybe reduce the damage to the planet. I don't know. It just is coincidental. You'd need to go back and look at the, you know, the entire comet sequence as depicted by the rocks. It's exactly what they say happens, and certainly the Google Earth would indicate exactly that, where I pointed out the ocean floor age is exactly as depicted. So we're talking, you know, 4 in north of Australia, the 2 major comet impacts on the same line of longitude in the Americas and the European common impact as well. There would have been tidal waves everywhere. Like I said, I just don't think there would have been very, very many people living here at all, that were left on the planet. The movement, if we're looking at a movement of 1100 kilometres on the line of longitude in about 5 seconds, honestly, the more and more I think, I just can't see a whole lot of people there. And science, you scientists and historians and do whatever. I'm just saying what's on these rocks and what they say happened. The planet shows that's what happened. Historically, it may not be that case, but it's irrelevant because you've just had, 1,000-foot tidal waves sweep across continents. What do you think that's going to do with the level of dirt that's on the ground or rock? You're going to have everything from upside down, back to front, and so on and so on. So I think you're really going to have to reassess that situation. Okay, we'll go back to the rocks and assess the reasons they're here. Number one, they're here in their numbers because they had to be. Okay, they would have just made rocks and left no high-tech stuff on them. Okay, that would be the reason why they made and left the high-tech and the message that they were manufactured was because they knew they needed to come back effectively. They knew at some point. That's why the messages are here in there is many. They're at our feet, not the leaders' feet. These are on our countrysides. These are where we drink. These are where we play. These are where we do everything. So they are our messages, and they are telling us what happened to our planet. So as much, if I read into what the rocks are telling me, they are saying you are going to be misled by your leaders, and we're going to put these here in their billions with really, really high-tech stuff on them. So you can't not believe me. All right? And I've also shown you in the fact that I manufacture these rocks in their billions that I'm really, really smart here. And if I wanted to come and take your planet, I'd have just come and taken that 12,000 years ago instead of keeping you bastards alive. This is where we are with things. This is exactly where we are. That is what I read from that part of the rock. And I'll just tell you one other thing. This would be awfully daunting, like I said, for some, and there are people on this planet now that must be getting scared shitless, quite frankly, because the other reason the rocks would be here without doubt would show that humanity would always be protected from no matter what it was. Right? And in this instance, what the problem was not somewhere else. It wasn't a body coming from space that was going to have to protect, they were going to have to protect us from. Right? That's why they're on the ground at our feet. It wasn't something that was going to come in from outside that was going to hurt us. It was here already, which is why they're here. Okay, that's the other thing you can assess. The next thing you can assess is in their numbers, and they're going to say not only that they know there's a problem and have to come back. The other thing is they're gonna come back. Right? That's the other thing, that they're coming back, and that's why it's here. Okay, so they are coming back. That's the other thing you can assess without doubt. Okay, we're just following at thoughts of logic and understanding of what we are seeing here. Now we must get to the point, the end of the video and the final assessment of the situation, I guess. If they are in their numbers as they are, and we are understanding that they are there for informing humanity that it would be protected at all costs from wherever the threat, and the return is inevitable. The one thing with the pyramid and the way and manner in which it's built and designed is depicting a people that can enough understanding of planetary science and physics to have portrayed the path of our planet 20 years in advance. That we are talking a very, very, very highly advanced people. The design of some of the rocks would indicate it would be hard to believe that these people do not have the ability to both see forward and travel in time. Okay, it'd be pretty hard to assess if that's actually not the case. And like I said, the numbers of rocks, they know they have to leave them here. Okay, that's why the messages are on the rocks. That's what I mean. They know they have to leave them here. They've built a pyramid that's told you 20,000 years in advance what the planet's motion was going to do. I think at this point we can assess that they can time travel. And this is where the story gets really, really, really good for mankind. And I mean exceptionally good. Here we have a people now that are extremely far, far, far more advanced than us. Okay, now the people themselves who have this ability have thought to come back and save mankind. Okay, if what I'm saying and what the rocks portray are all real and it's all true, and as I say, I'm just saying to you if we're looking at what is in front of us and understanding the facts of it happening, well then that is what's happened. We've had a situation where a very, very, very advanced race of beings, they're not gods, they are beings, they've left us know that by the manner in which they developed the rocks. They have said, we can make them this way and we can make them that way. This is why, like I said, this is the way they work. They are evolved beings, no different than us, evolving. But what is the most important thing, and to take out of all of these videos, and this last one, and this last video now, is that one thing is that they can see into the future, and they came back to save us. And you know why? Because they see our future and they see where we're going. And to come back and have saved us, that's really, really, really good, because they can see that humanity, although we are sat here now with a ball and chain around the neck of every human on this planet by the very filth and disgust and mistrust and misleading leaders. That's what we have. We live in a world of absolute filth and disgust of our leaders. They are the absolute... I'm just not even going to waste my time on that video, because we'll lose the point here. And the point of the most amazing thing is that these people can see our future and they came back to save us. And that's the amazing thing. So we, as humans, we have many, 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 many millions of years, one would expect, of development where we go ahead. So where we are led to believe of doom and gloom from nuclear war and death and non-existence, I see that not to be the case here, because they've come back to save us. They know where we're going. If we were in actual fact a threat off planet, right? So in other words, if we got to the point of it being an advanced people, so we were doing as they do, where we can go and travel from star system to star system. If we were a threat to that, we wouldn't, I'm telling you, they wouldn't have come back here. We would have been gone. The situation arose 12,000 years ago where people that look into the future, so we are now, like I said, we are going to, at one point in the future, looking at what and assessing from the rocks, we are going to go into the future, into the stars, and we will not be led by scumbag dogs like we have now. And that is really, really good thing to for us to all understand. So that's how I'll finish my video. I hope you understand. It's been an eventful 6 weeks, this one. I didn't expect any of this sort of stuff, so I hope you've enjoyed the input. I've certainly spent many, I wouldn't say hours, but probably hours all up looking at rocks and really having to assess my understanding of things, although it really probably didn't change my assessment of a whole lot of things that I actually think about personally, but it's not about a personal matter here. I'm just probably just trying to understand what I see before me, and I hope I've portrayed my understanding in a way that you can understand, and maybe not be so frightened about things. If I'm correct, I would expect there to be something very quickly, probably within this month. Okay, I would expect if anything's going to happen, it'd probably be before the 1st of January. So don't panic if you see them coming in out of the you may not even see that, to be honest. You might just wake up 1st of January and find a lot of empty clothes around our world, and we're going to have to make sure every child that's left in an empty house is taken care of, because they will certainly remove those people that have fed on the youth and other human beings for want of pleasure or whatever it is. They will certainly not be here 1st of January in my opinion. But anyway, and let's hope I'm right. Certainly my assessment of these rocks would indicate that they are here to indicate a very, very advanced, intelligent race that probably look a little bit like this fella here, are going to come back. And by the way, that is not taken off a poster for a movie. That's taken off a rock, that image. Okay, and it wasn't easy to find. It was left there for a bloke like me to stick my head down what looks like a crack in a rock with a microscope. I hope you appreciate my input here, and like I said, I have a feeling that this period of time that we head towards, pyramid tells us the Earth is slowing, the globe is beginning to stand up, and the globe's going to stand up for itself in more ways than one. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks very much. This is Brian Whitten. I've enjoyed my time on YouTube. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. But it is my last video. Thanks very much. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye bye.